Yo, yo, it's DigiBro, and here I am to clear up a misunderstanding or a source of confusion that seems to happen a lot when people are discussing my taste in shows. There's a thing I said years ago that I generally don't like mysteries. I don't like mystery stories. And this seems to have confused a lot of people because there's plenty of shows that I like that could be described as mystery shows. And people are like Steins Gate, for instance. Like, how can you like Steins Gate if you don't like mysteries? Well, I want to make a key distinction between like not liking mysteries and not liking shows that have a mystery in them. I don't mind like mystery existing. I'm fine with that. What I have a problem with is that I don't find mysteries to be interesting in and of themselves. So if a show's only driving force is its mystery, I'm probably not going to enjoy the show. Now, the way I would sort of define mystery is the gap between what we as an audience know and what we know we don't know. So, for instance, let's say there's a show like Erased, where we know from the start that there is a killer. There's someone where it's a whodunit, who killed this little girl. And so much of the show is about that mystery, like trying to solve who did it, who's the one who did this thing. And we don't really have anything to go on in the beginning. We have some vague hints of like, it could be this guy, it could be that guy, here's little bits of evidence. But in the end, we can't possibly guess who it's going to be, except for that the show, uses its cinematography to kind of make it obvious. But like, the idea of like who is the killer, we can't like just solve that on our own. And even if we thought we could, if the show was leading us towards one conclusion, we would probably be suspicious that it was actually somebody else, because one of the major ways that a plot twist works is that it subverts the expectation. It's like the old Scooby-Doo cartoons, which I was never a big fan of because they always work constantly to direct you to this one person who seems like they should be the villain, but then, oh, shocking twist, it wasn't them. I mean, this is lampooned in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, where there's a character named Red Herring, who literally is always the one that Freddy suspects is the bad guy, even though he's never the bad guy. He's literally there to be a red herring, and the show is spoofing it, which is why it's the best version of Scooby-Doo. But this idea of like just feeding us little hints here and there and like trying to make us make assumptions when we know that it's probably not going to be what we assume infuriates me. It just makes me sit there feeling like I'm having my time wasted. Now, what's great about a show like Steins Gate is that there's a lot of reasons to watch the show besides the mystery. It spends the first 9 episodes establishing this really intensely lovable cast. I love every character in that show. Their interactions are fun to watch just on their own. The dialogue is so good. You've got great visuals, great directing, great music, all this stuff that leads you into this atmosphere and really gets you to care about this scenario and these people, so that once shit starts happening to them, you care not because the shit that's happening is necessarily interesting, but because it's happening to these people. And granted, Steins Gate also does its mystery in a really fun and interesting way by having it be like watching a girl get killed hundreds of times. Like that in itself is entertaining as a concept, beyond the not knowing what the hell's going on. If you want to see a show that does mystery as badly as humanly possible, Roka no Yusha is a perfect example. The entire show is just misdirects. It's all just characters standing around talking about who could have done it. Could it be this guy? Could it be him? Well, it can't be him because it might be this. Well, blah, 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 blah. Just running through circular logic over and over again. Just like the whole show is just constantly the question, who did it? And you're not going to find out till the end, so who cares? It's just boring. There's not enough to go on. There's little moments of characterization here and there that might make you care about a character a little bit, but most of the characters are obnoxious. Most of the stuff that happens is just kind of nonsensical. There's plot holes. It's fucking boring, and it's a slog to get through. because the only real appeal of the show is the mystery. It's just dragging you along. It's just you wanting to know what happens that drags you through the show. And personally, I don't care what happens that much. I don't really want to know that badly. You know, it's not inherently interesting to me to not know a thing and then to like want to know what the truth is. Like, and I think it's even more powerful when a show can actually make you think you do know what's happening and then trick you. You know, like that can be a good way to write a show. When like that's how a plot twist can be effective, is when you really think you're in the character's head and you know what's going on. And then when that switch gets flipped, then it's an oh shit moment. I believe Shiki episode 19 is a good example of this, if I'm remembering correctly. The one where a certain character, you're driven to think that he's working in this woman's best interest, and then he sort of flips the script on her in a major way that's very haunting and dramatic and terrifying. That's how you do a great twist, you know? Not to have like just constantly us going like, oh, I'm sure it's not that guy, because that would be obvious, and then what would the twist be? You know, oh, here's the twist. Like, they have to trick you somehow. And then it's not a mystery, then it's a thriller. You know, like, to me, like, I mean, it depends on how you define mystery, and lots of people will look at different shows. Like a detective show is, like, kind of a mystery show, but what's interesting about it is the detective. You know, it's about the reveal of, like, how these things happened and what's going on, more so than, like, the actual wanting to know who the killer is. Like, in an episode of Detective Conan, nobody cares who the killer is. You know, like, these characters are one-off characters who show up for like an episode or two, and you're not really that invested in their personal narratives. What's interesting is how did they do it, and how are we going to learn how they did it? You know, how are we going to find out that how is Conan going to explain to us, you know, what happened? So it's not really the mystery per se. I guess it's a mystery, like how they did it, but like, you know, the detective work is the interesting part, more so than the reveal, or like the question of what was going on the whole time. You know, and just I feel like anytime a show has to be carried by that, it just gets boring to me. And so there's plenty of shows that have a mystery that I like. It's just the mystery's not why I like the show. I don't like Steins Gate because I wanted to know what was going on with CERN. I like Steins Gate because I want to see these characters make it out of this situation, you know, or for themselves piece it together. So yeah, hopefully that helps to explain, and I could get into more specifics if anybody asked, like, why do I like this show in spite of it be... Like, I think I, even, like, with Kemono Friends, like, that show, there's kind of a mystery element to it in that you don't understand entirely what the hell's the deal with Japari Park, but it's not the lack of information that makes it interesting, it's the weird information we do learn, you know? It's like learning about something and then wanting to know why it's like that, and being like, oh, what's the deal with that thing? And it's never the show like saying, hey, something's weird here. I stick around for episode 12 and eventually you figure it out. You know, it's more about that feeling of seeing something and then wanting to know what's the deal with it, you know? Which I don't get from a show like Erased, where I just didn't give a single fuck about who the killer is. I don't care. Why would I care? It doesn't matter. It's stupid. Anyway, that's it. Hope that helps to clarify things.